In this video, I'm going to teach you a couple of strategies that you can use to actually identify research gaps. I'm sure you're already familiar with what research gaps are, but just for a refresh, they are questions or problems that haven't yet been answered, or at least sufficiently answered by existing research within a field. And also at the end of the video, I will be talking very briefly about an alternative critical perspective on research gaps. If you're interested, make sure to hang back. I'll be breaking these strategies into two broad categories. First, we're going to go through the recommended review the literature method. I'll really break down the process and provide step-by-step guidance. I mean, it is the most important method for finding research gaps. You really can't escape it. Then we're going to look at the quick hacks and shortcuts. I mean, these are additional methods and techniques that you can use to identify gaps. But you can use these as standalone techniques. I mean, if you're a master's student or an undergrad student doing it for your dissertation project, it's probably fine. But I still do highly recommend that you actually use these supplementary techniques to aid the literature review method, especially if you're a PhD student or if you just really want to do a good research project. Let's get started. Part 1, the lit review method in 4 simple steps. Step 1, comprehend. Once you know what you're roughly interested in researching, do some very broad reading around it. At this stage, you'll obviously only have a very loose idea of what it is that your research is going to focus on. That's fine. I mean, treat this loose idea as your focus topic. Read widely around this topic by using really broad search phrases and terms, and make sure that you engage with recent publications, both within your field, but also in related fields. Don't read papers in depth though, just make sure to only skim the abstract and definitely look out for the headings of the subsections of the paper and maybe read the introduction of the paper. Doing this is going to give you an idea for the various streams and perspectives that exist around your research topic. It's a good idea to start a mind map for this. Just record phrases and terms that you are frequently coming across and things that pique your interest. As you skim recent publications, look out for phrases such as lack of understanding in promising areas and also take note of these. Doing this is also going to help you refine your search terms and phrases. You can also use software like VOSviewer in this initial step. I won't go into detail about using VOSviewer in this video because it's really long, but it's essentially a literature visualization tool that you can use to plot and analyze maps of bibliometric data. It's almost like looking at thousands of abstracts at the same time. It's really cool. I do have guides for VOSviewer if you're interested. The links are in the description. Make sure to check them out. Step 2, apply. As you familiarize yourself with commonly used concepts, theories, and ideas, start examining what each of these various approaches are actually saying about your area of interest. At the same time, you should make sure that you expand your mind map by drawing further branches and nodes. Essentially, what you need to do is outline how the different perspectives that you observed back in step 1 relate to your research interest. The point of this step is for you to now start selecting certain associated topics to basically complement and apply to your focus topic. So for instance, my focus topic is post-digital organizing, and my associated topics are spatial systems, temporality, and digital materiality. I'm basically using these associated topics to look at my focus topic. Step 3, review. Now that you have a clear idea of your focus and associated topics, it's time to go in depth. Start reviewing and critiquing literature specifically around these topics that you framed. Doesn't mean that you need to say, oh, this is good, this is bad, but instead really start evaluating and analyzing how existing literature is addressing both these focus and associated topics. Look out for contradictions, inconsistencies, voids, potential links, both weak and strong, methodological mismatch, poor evidence, weak arguments across multiple papers, not just individual papers. Doing so is going to help you identify recurring questions, common themes, and shared challenges. It's also a good idea that you maybe have a look at the conclusion and future research and limitations sections of papers. This is going to help you understand what could have been done otherwise, and also any issues or problems that still need to be overcome according to the authors of the publication. Here's a pro tip for you. While you do this, make sure that you create a database to keep track of the literature that you've been reading, and also to record your critical review notes. Also, make sure that you keep updating your mind maps to record your train of thought in terms of how these different perspectives, ideas, and approaches are flowing together. As you continue doing this, you will start forming a clearer picture of what kind of additional research is required. Finally, to solidify the development of your original research topic, you need to synthesize, which is step 4. By synthesize, I mean try to figure out how various elements, streams, and perspectives work together in the literature that you've already read. What you basically need to do is justify integrating different approaches together. So essentially what you will be doing is that you'll try to put different elements of theory and methods together to form a new coherent or functional whole. The point here is that you try to reorganize elements into a new pattern or structure. You need to use your understanding of the literature to then sort of basically develop arguments to justify this proposed structure. While you follow these 4 steps, make sure that you always take notes and keep building on your mind maps. I honestly cannot stress how important this is, because when you do go over your notes and your mind maps later, you will notice that you have created research gaps. Part 2. Let's go over some supplementary techniques to accompany the 4-step literature review method. Number 1, read systematic reviews, review papers, and meta-analyses, I hate saying that word, on your focus topic. These provide an overview of the literature in your field, and it's a good way to understand trends and changes in research over a long period of time. But just remember that the analysis presented in these types of papers is done by someone else. So you won't really have the chance to then conduct your own unique analysis, which is probably going to lead to more original research gaps. Also, remember that if you are reading about these sorts of research gaps in a published article, you are unlikely to be the only researcher who wants to address them. Number 2, we already briefly touched on this in part 1, but you can also look out for the recommendations put forward by authors in future direction sections of every paper. And also for every recent paper that you think is relevant to your topic, search for phrases like lack of understanding, the key question remains, important to address, have not been studied, is limited, poorly understood. These will give you an indication of where the authors think more research is required, or also just the kind of research that might be missing. Number 3, another thing that you can do is that on Google Scholar, search for promising areas, results, or preliminary results within your research area. This can yield research avenues that are starting to receive attention but have not yet fully been addressed. Finally, an invaluable resource for identifying what's hot in your field is looking at conference websites, the description of individual conference streams themselves, and obviously, of course, conference presentations themselves. And if you're attending conferences, obviously, if you're confident enough to go talk to leading scholars in your field, make sure to go do that. Highly encourage doing that. They'll be more than happy to share their thoughts about your ideas and your proposed topic. You can also look at preprints and recent theses in university repositories. Of course, these are not peer-reviewed, so please, you really need to be careful around that and actually go do your own investigation using the 4-step method that I explained earlier. But the main point of looking at these sources is that you get an idea of real-time information about ongoing research. Remember, make sure that you use these additional techniques along with actually reviewing the literature, and I promise you will be well on your way to identifying research gaps. Hope you guys found this video helpful, and let me know in the comments if these are methods that you've used or will be using in your own research journeys. Finding a gap in the literature is really hard when you don't know what and how to look for them. But once you've grasped the process for identifying them, you will see them literally everywhere. If you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could give me a like and hit subscribe for more. But it's from a critical scholar. The standard understanding of a research gap is a question or a problem that hasn't yet been answered, or at least sufficiently answered by existing research within a field, right? What if I told you that my internal PhD examiner left this comment on my feedback form? Thankfully, the student has not bothered writing about research gaps. Essentially, there's a lot of scholars these days who contest the idea of a research gap as holes that need to be filled. I mean, when you go from that understanding of a research gap, it implies that the world and phenomena of a research are pre-existing structures or predefined images. So imagine it's a jigsaw puzzle, and the point of doing research is to then just find missing jigsaw pieces to fill in this preformed structure. But to find missing pieces of an already existing picture, you will have to read literally all the insane amount of literature that exists out there about a topic, and also know the empirical world fully, which, I mean, if you think about it, is quite frankly impossible. Also, this doesn't even take into account that you can still produce knowledge by weaving empirical materials, methods, theories, concepts, and ideas in new and innovative ways, instead of just looking at what already exists and then saying that, well, there is certainly a hole in there. Anyway, this is quite a complex discussion, and I will probably make another video discussing it in more detail in the future. But for now, just remember that identifying research gaps doesn't just have to entail confidently claiming that, something is for sure missing. A research gap or a novel contribution to knowledge can also be created by you by synthesizing and weaving empirical, conceptual, and methodological materials. In conclusion, you can proceed with identifying gaps by creating your own unique puzzle, rather than thinking that there is a missing piece to a pre-existing puzzle. Thank you, and see you next time.